Greetings, I am Tom Earl. On this week's episode, I interview the founder of the KittyRose Lyfestyle, Minister Cat. Check it out. Greetings, I am Tom Earl. Welcome to the celebration. As you know, this is my year of grace. We know you could be anywhere, so the fact that you are here today sharing your greatest gifts, your time and your energy means the world to me. We have an amazing guest all the way on the East Coast.
Yeah.
She goes by the name of Minister Cat. How's it going today?
Hey, yeah. What's up, LA? Is it LA or California? I don't know.
I'm in LA.
Hey, LA. Good.
Oh, we are bridging the coast right here.
Yes. This time we got it right.
Yes. Do you mind if I read a part of your bio to the folks
Not at
listening?
all. Go ahead. Knock it out.
Wonderful. Minister Cat is the founder of the KittyRose Lyfestyle. In 2016, she created and started hosting a weekly show called Natural Sessions, which has had over 45 guests and now can be seen in over 4.7 million homes on 3 public access channels and 2 streaming networks. As a marketing major, her resume includes modeling, a dancer, and a creative fashion stylist. After leaving the corporate world in 2003, she has worked on many projects, including producing events for the Mary J. Blige Center for Women, as well as teaching self-esteem to preteen girls and social media workshops to adults, artists, and small business owners. In 2010, she opened her first boutique, the KittyRose Lifestyle Connection in Harlem, and in 2014, she opened another in the West Village. In 2016, she directed her first short documentary called The Untitled Journey, which was invited to screen at MBFF, the longest Black film festival in the United States. A native of Brooklyn, Minister Cat's main purpose and goal is to teach and heal from all experiences we faced and to embrace acceptance. You gotta snap after a bio like that.
And I'm only 25.
What?
I said, and I'm only 25.
Are you serious?
Oh, no, of course not. No. I know I look it, but no.
Oh, you just blow. I was like, no. I believe it.
Wow, she's a young, motivated person.
So, even with a bio as extensive as yours and as, so many amazing parts of your journey, let's start with a little bit of an origin story. Wherever you feel you want to jump in. Where did this all begin for you?
Okay, I'm going to start with the power of manifestation. When I had my store in Harlem, I was in the fashion buying world, so clothes, retail, that was nothing to me. But I knew that I was going to be closing my store eventually, and I was already producing events for the community, but I knew that I wanted to kind of see if I could make a difference. And the director of the Mary J. Blige Center was a client of mine. So we ended up doing I produced a luncheon for her, but maybe 6-9 months later, I had already prior said, I'm going to be working at the center. Not knowing how, not knowing when, but just this is what I want to do. When I close my store, that's my next step. And after I produced this luncheon for the ladies at the center, she was impressed. She found a position for me at the center, and that actually was the door opening to community activism work. Because prior to that, I was just in entertainment. I was in the arts and I did things for the community, but it was really just all fashion and buying type of thing. It wasn't really anything that was spiritually driven that actually made a difference. And working in the nonprofit, I won't say that, working at the Mary J. Blige Center allowed me to see how I could be more involved with helping my women fellow sisters, and just my community, because by helping my women, I'm helping my community. So I love that story because it was me putting it into an existence and then making it happen some kind of way so that it came about. It wasn't just like, oh, I wished upon it and then I just, prayed it up. I prayed it up, but with action. And that's been my life and my philosophy to people. Like, anything is attainable if you put it out there, but we haven't learned that. We say it, we get told that, but we haven't really learned how to use it. And I'm still struggling. I haven't tackled it, but I know that I'm aware of it, and I do my best to try to tune into it as much as possible. Like, talking to you. Because that's me putting in the work. That's me saying I want other people to know about me. I want other people to call. I'm on that circuit now. All of 2017 and 18, I've been on the interview circuit, just promoting my show, promoting my message, and that's because I'm putting the work out there for people to find me. I'm putting the work out there to follow up for my own shows that I want to be on. So it's me saying what I want, but it's also me putting the things in action for it to happen.
Yeah, that is a powerful story. And I had read somewhere on Facebook how you had kind of just started to get involved on Instagram just shortly before we connected.
And look who I made in less than a month or month and a half. And you know why I shared that? Because people are so, not a lot, but I hear a lot of people who are afraid of social media. I mean, I hear people who are afraid of life and people, and that's what one of your things is about, your shows is about life stories, like living life. There's so many people who are not living life because of fear of this and fear of that, or fear that that person's going to take something, or that person wants something, and it is, but it's not that serious. And I think that if you live a righteous life, things righteously come to you. You know what I mean? So you don't have to worry about that. And social media has been great for me. Now, I've had some situations on social media very even recently, but for the most part, my journey has been incredible using social media. And I like people to see that, so that they know that if they use it effectively, it can be beneficial for them as well, for whatever reasons that they're on it.
When did you start having that internal feeling of that courage you're speaking of, but also feeling connected to, my intentions and my actions can align to reach towards something that I have a dream within me? When did you start believing that, rather than it's all random and out of my hands and I hope?
On 2 occasions. Right before 9/11, I had just secured, after 10 years in the retail fashion industry, my first real corporate job where the money was awesome. The money was awesome. The connections was awesome. And then 9/11 came, and my husband and I had no money in the bank. We had 2 small children. I was working like a dog, 50 hours, 60 hours a week, making nice money, but I had nothing to show for it. And if we needed to escape, we had no means to do so. So after 9/11 happened, the showroom that I was in, we got another clothing line. And I wasn't a salesperson in the showroom, but my boss asked me to help take over this new line. And in 4 months, during a time that we're supposed to be at war, I did $250,000 for this clothing line that nobody ever heard of. And then, and then years later, when I went to the Mary J. Blige Center, during the time that I was there, I was the volunteer program coordinator. And when my first evaluation came, it was 6 months, and at that point I had did over 75 different programs, and I had over 90-something folks come and volunteer programs. So from 9/11 happening, when people bought something from me, that no one heard of. We're in the midst of war. I do $250,000 of something that that's not my forte. And then I go through all these other steps in my career and successful at it. Then I come to now community work and still get people to come through. I realized it didn't matter what I sold. It didn't matter what I had. It didn't matter what I did. People came out. People felt connected. People felt comfortable with me. So when it came to doing my own thing, when I realized that I still couldn't even conform in nonprofit, like I'm not a part of the matrix. I mess with the matrix because I know it exists, but yeah, I don't fuck with y'all. You know what I'm saying? So I had to. I don't know if it was boldness more than I didn't have a choice. You know what I mean? Because I realized that you got people who see the real in you, who support you, who know that you put the work in, no matter what it is that you're offering to them. So because they value your work, you will get compensated and taken care of. You're okay. The scriptures tell you that the sparrow, that gets taken care of. And to be honest with you, my life really is that testimony. Whatever I don't have is because of decisions I made. But I pretty much have had everything that I've wanted, even if it was bad, along the way, I've pretty much had in just this short period of time so far. And it's a blessing because it's only been in this short period of time. So now I know, and I can imagine what the second half of my life is getting ready to be. So yeah, I think it was 9/11, and it was my first evaluation at the Mary J. Blige Center. And I was like, I got this.
How do you, when you're about to make a leap of faith, a lot of times where you went from the corporate world to entrepreneur and working at the Mary J. Blige Center to leaving that and starting, film and video and shows. How do you decide? How do you prepare to make that leap?
Recently, I've been allowing Jehovah God to lead me. I think he's always been leading me. I just wasn't aware. When I started the KittyRose Lyfestyle in 2006, and I did it to be easy, because if you say lifestyle, it's not really any one particular thing. You can kind of fake like, oh, it's whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I did that because I wanted to be able to be honest with you, my main sidebar, I got pregnant at 21, 22. I got pregnant at 21. I had my baby at 22. I got pregnant right in the midst of me as a model, dancer, stylist, like right in the heart of me in the entertainment business. I pulled back. I become a mother. The transition that first couple of months wasn't easy for me because I didn't want to be a mother just yet. I went through whatever period I needed to get through to get a grip of motherhood. And when that happened, it really, it fucked me up, because the rest of my last 20 years have been all motherhood and has been whatever type of work I can do creatively, but still be like a full-time parent. So because I'm an artist, all the kind of jobs that I started to take was around the arts and entertainment. And I've always been in management. Those were my positions in the industry. And then I took marketing in school. So I just kind of took everything that I guess I had been learning and kind of been built with growing up and made it into a business where I can do different things creatively in the arts and combine community activism. And then it was just easy to open up a store because I was already in retail, the clothing industry. I could have a base. I didn't really have to focus and be this big time buyer, but I could still kind of like move around and grow as an artist and just, figure out what my direction is. And everything was just divine. Like I didn't know I was going to become a filmmaker. I didn't even know. I became a minister at 10, but I became a new ordained minister just 3 years ago. I didn't know that was going to happen. I didn't know that I was going to be producing television. Like, I didn't know that these things were going to happen. These things were just like the evolution of things creatively that I was doing for my business. And then it evolved in me helping other business, show them how to do it, led me to teaching, which led me to, I got a video for my business, let me video, you know, everything was just like a tumblewheel of things, but still the main focus was, what can I do that's still going to allow me to make wrestling matches? That's still going to allow me to make parent-teacher conference. That's still going to allow me to be home because I have teenagers and not have them be latchkey kids because I have to work. You know what I mean? It still allowed me to make a living and not be confined to something I didn't want to do, and I wasn't being creatively challenged, but really, really so that I could, you know, just be there with my kids. And I see the difference because I'm around awesome parents, but I can see the difference in the parents that work full time in difference with their relationship that they have with their children than the relationship I have with my children. And I'm so appreciative because I'm really enjoying the process and watching them grow up and become adults. And I think I had a little hand to do with
that. I'm sure you had a big hand to do with that. What advice do you have for somebody who feels trapped or afraid to expand and be open to all the possibilities they know they can do, but there's something holding them back?
I think something's always going to be holding you back. You know, in the career you choose, in the job you choose, in venturing on your own, life is challenges, you know, and I think the best advice to give people is that you got to live, you know, point blank, period. Like, whatever you decide to do, like, I get emotional because so many of us are not living and we are dying rapidly. Like, I know that it's a difference because now we're adults, so maybe we didn't notice it as kids, but I feel like literally every week someone's dying. Like, I'm every week I feel like someone is fucking dying. And it's just like, I just want us to live. Whatever decide we do, whatever, just live and do it and pray on it. Because I think a lot of us feel like we can't pray about things that might be monetary, or we can't pray about things that might be, you know, not spiritual. You know what I'm saying? So we disconnect that relationship and that strength that the Creator gives us. That when people say that you're God, they mean that in a sense of you have the ability because you are made in the image of to do whatever, because he created such an incredible being. So you having that power, you can manifest and create anything that you want. But we get stuck, like you said, in the fear, but in the fear stops us from living. You know what I'm saying? Because I think sometimes when people talk to entrepreneurs, all entrepreneurs are encouraging people to quit their jobs. Like, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, everyone's not meant to be an entrepreneur, but everyone's not fucking meant to be a scientist or a doctor. Like, my son is a mathematician right now, and he's bummed because he got a C. And I'm like, you got a C? And he's like, yeah, but I'm happy about that C because that shit was hard, you know? And he's been like a genius at math. I couldn't figure out 2 + 2 × squared equals pi times what? Like, but that's not for me to understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not built. Every morning, I lie to you not, Tom. I think the shower is one of the most incredible inventions made by man, right? I couldn't figure out how to fucking make the water come through pipes. You know what I'm saying? So I think we need to all appreciate the roles that we play, whatever they are, and fucking embrace and live and not and not be stifled by fear, because life is challenging, man. Life is, that's what makes it worth living. You know what I mean? Because you can fight through those challenges. It's possible. You see it every day.
How do you learn, or how can someone get tapped in and connected with the gifts and the genius and the mastery that they bring to the world?
I was just saying, how can they get in touch with my mastery?
We'll do that part at the end. We'll save the plug for how can they connect with your mastery.
How vain I am. That's how they do it. Be vain. Believe in yourself. Yes, but boom. Believe it. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I think it's great that people follow and support and have encouraging things to say to me every day. But at the end of the day, I believe in me. You know what I mean? I've made bad decisions, but I've made bad decisions because I'm imperfect. But ultimately, I love myself, and I think because I love myself, I tend to only do what makes me happy. And that's what I want. I think that's my encouraging word to people. Do what makes you happy. It may affect other people, and that's sometimes sad. But, but ultimately, it's about self-preservation. It's about you being happy and whole with yourself. And that's what I try to do. I work on being happy because I love Kat. And Kat not happy is not a cool person. I could be nasty. I could be mean. And who wants to be that all day, So how I tap into that, how I tell people to tap into that is loving themselves, finding out how to love yourself. Because we're not all, we all say that, but we're not all taught that. We're not all given the tools. That's why I'm so free and transparent with myself. Because I need young women, I need girls, I need men, I need boys, I need people to love themselves. Because if you love yourself, there's no way that you could be mean and fucked up to other people. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't walking around with that. You happy. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way that your life becomes. And if you tap into that, whatever that you decide to do, you'll be happy because you're not going to do anything that's making you not happy. It's about taking care of yourself. Nobody else is going to. You got to teach people how to treat you, and they don't know how to treat you if they don't see how you treat yourself. But
I love that. If you're loving yourself, you're not going to go out there and be an asshole.
No, I don't think so.
Because all that comes from fear, insecurity, hatred, greed, which you can't hold on to those things while you're carrying self-love.
Yeah, man.
So right now, when this episode comes out, we are in Black History Month.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. What does that mean for you? Or what do you reflect upon or want to amplify during this time?
Well, I know, us Black, pro-Black folks, we say Black History is every month. Especially because Black people have freaking done so much. You can't even confine it to freaking 28 days. But what it means to me, as we're in that month and sharing and having the opportunity to talk to your audience, I think what Black History Month does for people, and I know it does for me, it gives you a sense of pride. You know what I mean? I think that's what everybody wants. That's what every culture at the end of the day wants. We want to be recognized. We want to be recognized for the contributions that we've also brought to society, to civilization, to life. No one wants to be excluded like they don't matter. So I think what Black History Month does for me, it allows for everyone, even if they don't want to kind of just acknowledge Black folk, for 28 days, you know what I'm saying? Let us be all in your face, like, here we are, and I think every culture should have that, but for me, that's I guess that's my month of ownership. That's my month of yes. We're a part of this machine, just like everyone else. I don't claim the United States, but I am a historian, and Black people are a foundation. It's so funny because the people that run stuff, didn't even build it. They just delegated. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got your Irish, your Asian, and your fucking Blacks that fucking built this country. And it's just crazy that they don't that they're not acknowledged for that. In a country that they helped build. So I'm sorry. I'm a little long-winded. God, please forgive me, audience.
That's the whole point. The whole point of this is for you to be as long-winded as you want.
That's the power of editing. Cut that joint.
Yeah, I find that the editing is what takes the most time. So I like the long form interview where you get relaxed and those little sparks of insight come out when the person kind of like gets lost in, their thoughts and sharing. So I appreciate it.
That is I.
You're doing great.
Oh, I'm glad. I hope your audience is loving me. No.
I know they are. And just to echo, of course, at the celebration, we agree Black History Year 24/7. So we're not going to, contain it or tokenize it to 1 month. But we'll use this intentional time while folks are paying attention to create that seed that leads to that year of knowledge, of understanding.
Amen.
Is there anybody from history or your life that people should know about during Black History Month that you want to, or a fact or anything you want to give a shout out to that you can?
I've never been asked. You know what? Who I want to? Yes, I know I want to give a shout out to, and I've never said this, but I want to give a shout out to, and there's two that. Well, I want to give a shout out to the wives of civil activist men that we've known throughout history. The Betty Shabazz, the Coretta King. Because I don't know, like, I think we're getting to see a glimpse with Michelle Obama now being on tour and sharing a lot of intimate feelings that she had becoming the first lady and during her term in the White House, and how she was as a wife and a partner and a mother. But I don't think until recently we get to really know what a couple of months ago, last year, I do this thing called As I Sip My Morning Coffee. And when Ali passed away and made the transition, I thought about his movie, and I thought about how, when Will Smith played him, there was if you remember when the part that Jada played, Will's wife was not Ali's wife at the time that she was flirting around. He got a wife at home holding it down. And it made me think about, but we loved, this is not to talk bad about Ali. We loved Muhammad Ali. We loved what he stood for. We loved his activism. We loved his work ethic as an athlete. But how do the women at home deal with them knowing that they're invested in a powerful partner that they have to encourage, be there for, and deal with when the man is on the road, dealing with temptation, dealing with people, dealing with being away from the family, dealing with the mission of activism work is not an easy one. When you have a calling, you can try to do different jobs, you can try to do different careers, but your love for people and that calling to want to help surpasses anything else. And when someone chooses to live a life with you, and that's not necessarily their calling, they just happen to love you, how does their life now sacrifices or become supportive of your calling? So I want to give that type of shout out to the Coretta and to the Betty Shabazz, because I think them being wives at home while their husbands was on the front line and having small children at home, because the two of them didn't really get into their civil activities until after their husbands passed on. So when their husbands were present, they were home holding the church in the house and them little babies. They had little kids. So yeah, that's what my shout out goes out to the wives, to the Winnies, man.
That's a really important one. No doubt. I really appreciate that. I know lots of people during that were probably at work listening to the podcast, but stood up and people are wondering why they're snapping because you gave credit where credit's due. Most definitely.
No doubt.
You might have heard me say at the beginning that this is my year of grace.
Yes.
And with all of my years, it's not only a personal intention and journey for myself, but I also want to have conversations around what my year is. Last year was my year of courage. And so I'm curious for you, what is grace?
Imperfection. You know, that's what my ministry platform is based on. I say I don't teach perfection. I teach mercy and grace, because that's what Jehovah God gives us. He gives us grace and allowance of the fall down and to get back up. You know what I mean? Like, there's never a door closed to us from the Creator, which humbles us to never close a door to someone else. You know, we may learn from lessons and may not fuck with you the same way, but I still got love for you. You know what I'm saying? So I think it teaches us to be humble. It teaches us to know that none of us is perfect, and that's okay, because we're not. No fault of ours. We're just not. So the fall is okay, because with the fall, you can get back up. That's the grace. That's the beauty. You know what I'm saying? Even with people with no legs can stand back up. You know what I'm saying? That's the fight. That's the grace in my learning so far.
I appreciate that so much. We had mentioned we were going to get to this point. To those who want to be a part of your world and let you know how much they appreciate you, how can they go about doing that?
Like you, no, follow me. Well, there's a couple of ways. I mean, the easiest way is to definitely follow me on Instagram at Ms. with an MZ, KittyRose, MZKITTYROSE. But I really, really want people to follow my YouTube channel, which is the same thing. Well, no, it's not. It's Ms. KittyRose 1, Ms. MSKITTYROSE, the number 1. And only reason why, I mean, you can find everything on my Instagram, because like you said, I am new to it. So I'm learning how to curate it so that people can really learn and be invested in this journey that I'm on, because the journey I'm on is really the journey we're all on. I'm just being vocal about it, because everything I'm going through is what all of us go through. I'm no different than anyone else. I just live it out loud, because at the end of the day, it doesn't change or define me. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So how I move and how I maneuver, you know, is ultimately what defines me. And, you know, the grace allows me to keep going. So Miss KittyRose 1 on my YouTube channel has my shows, has my As I Sip My Morning Coffee, has a show that I'm producing called Natural Sessions that they can see on YouTube, because right now I'm only in New York outside of the 2 streaming networks I'm on, which is the On channel. But I don't want people to do a lot of work. So it's the Instagram is just easy, Miss KittyRose 1, because with that you'll find everything about me.
Well, folks, be sure to follow and connect with Kat.
Yeah.
If you missed the links, if you're on the go, you didn't have a chance to write that down, tomrell.com/Kat, KAT, tomrell.com/Kat is where you'll find all the show notes, the links. If you're listening to the podcast and you want to see parts of the video, it's there. All of that can be found there. Kat, I want to thank you so much for the leap of faith, you know, me just DMing you and saying, you seem awesome. Can I interview you? Going for it.
I will say, just to let you know, and because this is a real part of life, I was hesitant.
Of course.
Cause you know, I'm very pro-black. And I was like, who he want? You know what I'm saying? Is this some white dude trying to like, what he about? You know? So your wife saved you. And then I was like, but then I said, oh no, I don't want him because he just down with the chocolate. He just want to interview all the black sisters and he just down for the black. But then I saw the interviews and they weren't all black women. So I was like, okay. He's all right. I was like, I don't deal with the folks that's trying to be down with the cause because they feel guilty or whatever. Like, I'm down with the true blue. Let's be people. So I was like, I had to do my own little investigating before I said yes.
Which I fully expect. I know it's a long shot and it's a lot to take in all at once. You know, like what's
you to know that because that was real. I was like, and then I saw the wedding pictures. I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, let me dig a little deeper. All right, he's cool. He's a brother. I could take him.
Well, I appreciate the leap of faith, and you know, self-awareness is important. So I always know when I'm reaching out to somebody with an interview that a lot of that thought process that you shared is what other people have shared. So I'm like, Let me give it time, look at the past episodes, see that I'm not, you know, coming at you with any sort of BS intentions or anything. So that's why I know it takes it does take a leap of faith to give it a shot. So I appreciate that.
No doubt. And I love you loving on the black love, baby. That's what's up. You better be good to her when we coming after your ass. You already know that it's like you got an extra cape. Like you can't fuck up, even if you
Well, I love Adora very much. So for that and many reasons, I don't intend to.
Good job.
So as we close here, my last question for you is kind of a ritual of ours, and I'm curious to know, what would you like to invite people to do, to be, to consider, to think about? What is your invitation to my audience?
Pray. And I don't mean pray like get on your knees and pray. Prayer is conversation. Talk to your God every day, all day, while you're washing, you're brushing your teeth, tying your shoe, smoking your trees. Talk, communicate, become friends with the Creator. He's not some distant, you know, he's here. And we can connect to that. And connecting to that gives us the strength to live our life. And that's why we have it. You know, that's why we breathe. That's why we get up every day to live. But we need to be connected to that energy, that scent, that source. And we need to pray and have that relationship. The scriptures tell us those that call on the name, you know, I'll always be there for. But if you don't call on them, if you don't talk to them, if you don't have a relationship with them, then you can't receive those blessings. But I think when people think about prayer, they always think about, I have to pray right before I eat my meal. I have to pray on my knees before I go to sleep. But prayer is constant. Prayer is all day. Prayer is every day. Prayer is every thought. Don't be afraid to just have a conversation with your God, because he is your friend. He is there for you. And you can talk to him like you talk, like me and you kicking it right now. Talk to your father like that. Be Lord, shit, you know it ain't easy, because he hear you, because he got grace on us. You know what I'm saying? So don't be afraid to pray. Pray, it does the body good, like milk. And they say milk don't do the body good, so let me not say that. But prayer does the body good.
Well said. I really appreciate that, and want to thank you once again for everything you've gifted us today. Appreciate it.
No doubt.
My pleasure. And for all those listening, as always, we're wishing you peace and blessing. One more thing. I'd love to continue the conversation. Feel free to join me at tomearl.com/join. Subscribe below, or let's connect on social media. Tom Earl Artist. Thanks again for watching.